Argentina's default in 2001 was one of the most significant events in the history of sovereign debt. The event ultimately changed the landscape of the country's economy and impacted the international financial system. In this text, we will take an in-depth look at the causes, course of events, and consequences of the default, as well as its impact on the Argentine economy and the world at large. In the late 1990s, Argentina was experiencing an economic crisis caused by multiple factors. The country adopted a convergence policy that led to the fixing of the Argentine peso to the US dollar exchange rate. This decision initially led to economic growth but eventually caused significant imbalances. High levels of external debt, recession, rising unemployment, and social discontent created the conditions for crisis. By early 2001, the Argentine economy was in deep decline. Unemployment had reached 20% and poverty rates were over 50%. The government tried to cope with this situation by introducing austerity measures, but this only exacerbated social tensions. Protests and riots became commonplace on the streets of Argentine cities. In December 2001, under pressure from growing protests and a worsening economic situation, Argentine President de la Rúa declared a default of about $100 billion. It was the largest bankruptcy in history at the time. The decision to default was due to the impossibility of servicing foreign debt with such high economic and social distress. The default led to an immediate drop in confidence in the Argentine government and economy. International creditors and investors began withdrawing their funds from the country, leading to a sharp depreciation of the peso and an even greater economic downturn. The default had disastrous consequences for the Argentine economy. The country experienced hyperinflation and unemployment rose to 25%. Social discontent reached its peak, and in December 2001, there was a massive popular uprising that led to the resignation of President de la Rúa. Millions of people took to the streets demanding change and economic justice. In response to the crisis, the new government, led by Eduardo Dalza, began policies aimed at economic recovery. In 2002, Argentina devalued the peso, which, despite the initial shock, helped increase export competitiveness. Gradually, the economy began to recover, and poverty rates began to fall. After the default, Argentina entered into complex negotiations with international creditors. In 2005, the government offered creditors a debt refinancing, suggesting that they exchange old bonds for new ones with a reduced value. This offer was accepted by most creditors, allowing Argentina to reduce its foreign debt by more than 60%. However, not all creditors agreed to the terms, and some continued to litigate against Argentina. This created a difficult situation that continued for many years with various attempts to resolve the disputes. Argentina's default in 2001 was a lesson for many countries under external debt pressure. It showed that overdependence on foreign loans and rigid economic policies can lead to disastrous consequences. Countries faced with such situations began to rethink their debt management strategies and economic policies. Argentina's default in 2001 was not only a significant event in the country's history, but also had a profound impact on the international financial system. It demonstrated the vulnerability of countries dependent on external debt, and provided an important lesson for future generations. Despite the severe consequences, Argentina was able to rebuild its economy, but the lessons of the crisis remain relevant today.